In the name of the Most High. Today, I want to talk about brain tumors. In Grenada, North America, lots of people have tumors in the brain. And I've heard a lot of people calling me and said to me they did an operation to remove some tumors in the brain. And the doctors give them 15 months to live. And they're on the 9th month. So that's the death sentence. And as I said before, a surgeon is a great man, because a herbalist can go into your brain to remove a tumor, but an herbalist could use herbs if he know about plants to use to shrink things, right? And we're not saying to the person or the patient, don't see us a neurosurgeon, because they are important. Doctors are important now. We don't fight them down. But you need to find out what caused you to have the tumor in your brain. Because if you have a benign tumor, meaning it's not cancerous, they remove the tumor, and then as a point which part of the brain the tumor is at too. You see, if there's a cancerous tumor, that is more detrimental. Then you could have cancer in your lungs, and the cancer could get to the brain and cause the tumor to grow also. All because of lacking of certain movements of the blood and of the glandular system, because of the endocrine system. Because a lot of the time you get tumors in your brain because your endocrine system ain't working right. The pituitary gland, the adrenal glands, the thymus gland, the parathyroid, they're not working properly. And if they don't work well, they in turn could give you tumors, alright? And we have a few people in Grenada who are bombarded with tumors in the brain. And all these tumors sometimes come from environmental pollution. What they're doing into the atmosphere, cell phones, electrical clocks, electrical blankets, towers, all these environmental pollutions that release radiation, X-rays, CT scans, all those are culprits. So we have to learn now how to prevent a tumor from forming in your brain. Let's look at the brain again. And that's why education is so significant. The brain. Over 25,000 people last year was diagnosed with brain tumors in America. Over 25,000, 2014. And tumors are, look at the brain right here, don't forget the brain. The brain have a lot of vessels now. And the tumors originate in your brain from various cells that make up the brain's central nervous system. And some of them is called what we call gliomas tumors, and some are called astrocytic tumors. And a lot of the times they affect the brain, but sometimes the brain is connected to the spinal system. So sometimes when you have a tumor in your brain, your spinal cord is affected. And that's why sometimes when you have a tumor in your brain, you can't walk, you can't talk, your eyes become funny. It's according to the part of the brain the tumor is. See? So how do you contract a tumor in your brain? Because, as I said before, movements of, let's go over here right now. Movements of the blood. If you have blood stagnation, we call it blood stasis. If you have blood stasis or blood stagnation, lacking of movement of the blood, you start to form things. It could be a benign, it could be a cancerous tumor, because you have stagnation of the blood, right? Let's go over here again. The processing center again. All the organs supposed to be strong. If you have a weak organ in the body, that's where the sickness takes over. It takes over that organ if the organ is weak or sick. And then what happens to that organ, if it can't function properly and it becomes cancerous, if the cancer goes from your liver to your lungs, the cancer could get into the brain and cause a tumor also. Right? Now, secondly, if a tumor is in your brain, in the brain now, and you have troubles in the endocrine system, that's why we will have Dr. Sebastian Peters talking about these glands, how they function. Because I'm seeing a patient now who have a tumor in the pituitary gland. You understand? And I had a cancer patient years ago who had a tumor in his brain, and we shrunk it by half. When we went to Trinidad, the doctor said, oh, it's half strong because we did natural thing. We're going to teach you what you can do now. But, go back over here again. Your soil system is so significant. The large intestine, that is. That's why it is always imperative to go on a 3 or a 5-day cleansing of the body, of the organ system, of elimination. So that you don't have, the body don't get a chance to retain toxins that could cause your blood to slow up and cause you to have a tumor in your brain, because any one of us could have it. Now we're going to teach you now how to shrink them if they're not that big. Alright? Now, if you have a tumor in your brain, it affects your eyes. It affects the movements. It affects how you walk. It affects how you talk. It affects the spinal column. It affects your speech. It affects different parts of the body, because it is either leaning on a part of the brain that is connected to your eyes or your heart or your speech or your movements, the spinal cord, that is, and this affects you. But when a neurosurgeon go into your brain now and he take the tumor out, he tells you he don't know what causes the tumor to grow in your brain. And he says to you, you know what, it's going to come back. So now, if you have or had a tumor in your brain and you are taking radiation, which causes secondary cancer in the first place, we're going to teach you now how not to make them come back. Magnesium citrate. Lots of Americans is deficient in this particular mineral. Use it in solution, in the gel. It helps the hippocampus of the brain. You don't get troubles in the brain using magnesium citrate. Angioblock. I'm going to put it up for you to listen. See, look at the company now. This product here prevents what we call angiogenesis. It prevents the cancer cells from creating blood vessels. Ain't no part of the medical system prevents that. But these herbs prevent that. Even genistein and diastin from non-GMO soy does that too. They don't tell you that. So if your tumor is cancerous and it is not creating blood vessels, your tumor must shrink. It must go away. But if you're not eating right and your tumor or your cancer cells is producing blood vessels, the tumor is your cancer is going to feed. The tumor is going to feed and grow. So you have to starve the tumor now by doing what? Taking things that is from the nature. When you have a tumor in your brain, alternative compound, it's called the original Hoxsey formula. Dr. Hoxsey, he used to cure cancers till they put him in jail. Stillinger, red clover, burdock. You understand? These herbs make the lymphatic system flow, vessels flow, get thin, so they flow better. Get it again, my brother. Burdock, red root compound. All these herbs work on the lymphatic system, helping the lymphatic system to flow, because the lymphatic system is part of your immune system now. And it helps the fluid to become thin so they can flow better. And once you have movements of the fluid, vessels and fluids of the lymph nodes flowing well, ain't no tumor going to form in your body. Turn me now. Turn me now. You have to come to the circulatory system. Because if you have bad circulation and you have to have plaque in the walls and your brain is not being fed properly with nutrients, only toxins, you're going to get a tumor in your brain. So in order to remove the tumor from the brain, you have to do what? Help the circulatory system. Some doctor might say he's crazy. Yeah, you all never tried this yet though. You have to keep the blood moving well. Because all they do is remove the tumor from your brain, but the tumor come back, so they don't really fix it. Then they give you radiation. They don't fix it either. They're going to give you secondary cancers now. So all you have to do is go to the nature for the cure that God put here for us to use. And he put all kind of plants. He put plants to shrink things. He put plants to make the blood move well. He put plants to help to keep the brain functioning properly. So if you have good circulation now, and you have the blood moving to the brain, and the blood is not full of mucus and acids, you can never ever get a tumor in your brain. Why? Because the blood will feed the pituitary gland well. It's going to feed the pineal gland well. It's going to feed the adrenal glands well. And then you have good, again, brother, I'm going to emphasize on this organ. You have good earth health. You have good colon health. And you have good movements. You have nothing sitting in here. Moving quick. So if you have things moving quick, this part of the body corresponds to your glandular system, the adrenal glands, the pituitary gland. And a lot of the time you get tumors in your brain from these glands now. So if you have good movement of the blood, and you have good elimination, and you have toxins moving out regularly, and you have no stagnation of the blood, and you have no stagnation of the glands, the endocrine system we call it, you can never get tumors. And if you know you have it now, you have to go to the navy bean soup now. Navy bean soup. Because navy bean soup removes excessive amount of radiation from the body. Navy bean soup. See? And we're going to talk about navy bean soup on Thursday night. And we're going to teach you on Thursday on the keys 107 how to remove more tumor by using certain drinks. Alright? So don't forget, clean your system up, keep it clean, keep the circulatory system moving well, and you'll be okay. Give thanks and praise to the Most High and give him the glory.
Yeah, man.